mode today.
Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by my co-host, Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen, the number one issue that the American public wants to talk about right now and wants to hear about and wants to learn about. It's Project 2025. The data shows that over and over again because that impacts the lives of Americans. When people learn what Project 2025 is, what it means for their lives, their family, their neighbors, their communities, this country, the world, our democracy, our climate, our allies, it should be an incredibly frightening thing. And the American people get it. That's what the knowledge that the American people want. And there is this incongruity to the diet that the media is feeding to people, what they are prioritizing, the editorial decisions that they are making, which is frankly editorial malpractice, and what the people deserve to hear about. In some sense, it's leading to the growth and expansion of this network. But I truly wished that there would be other media networks out there and corporate media would focus on what matters to the American people and stop trying to manifest narratives out there and push things over and over again and focus on a narrative tsunami versus what's at stake right here. Cohen, there's a reason why Donald Trump is up late at night making posts like this. I know this is last night. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have not seen it. I have no idea who is in charge of it. And unlike our very well-received Republican platform, had nothing to do with it. The radical left Democrats are having a field day, however, trying to hook me into whatever policies are stated or said. It is pure disinformation on their part. By now, after all of these years, everyone knows where I stand on everything DJT. How do you know Donald Trump is lying? When he opens up his mouth, when he speaks, when he breathes. He is so closely tied to the hip with Project 2025. All of his top advisors are the authors of Project 2025. Stephen Miller cuts ads for it. His spokesperson cuts ads for it. His top advisors are running it. Trump spoke to the Heritage Foundation sponsoring the RNC, and they're the ones who are responsible for writing Project 2025. But Cohen, because Donald Trump puts it there, our media, the current environment, go, well, he says he's got nothing to do with it. And it's just enough of that. That's why we start with fighting stance right here. What do you make of it?
That we do, because today I got to keep the gloves on. There's no
whole
joke.
Show.
Well, I'm not going to keep it the whole show. My hands will start sweating. Look, the American people aren't stupid. And that doesn't mean that all the American people aren't stupid. There is a swath of this country that is as dumb as shit as you could imagine. And these are the people that are following Donald Trump, plain and simple. And I'm not the one who's saying that, even though I am the one saying it here to our brigaders. Donald Trump is the one that turns around and says, I like the poorly educated. Why? Because he can get over on them. He is the king of bullshit. He is the reality superstar that they will buy anything. He's no different than the same group of people that believed that the WWE, Wide World of Wrestling, was real. And how upset they were when they found out that it was all staged and choreographed. These are the same people. So when Donald Trump or his people turn around and say, he knows nothing about Project 2025, Ben, you and I can spend 3 lifetimes, not 1, not 2, but 3 lifetimes, trying to convince them that their leader, their supreme leader, their monarch, their dictator, their Führer doesn't know a damn thing about it. This is what I'm talking about. It's Trump or death? Really? Trump or death? What are they trying to relay here as a message? This is absolutely astonishing. Project 2025 is a 900-plus page manifesto for the complete dissolution of the government and the process to which government works as we all know it. And the fact that it is not receiving more negative attention in comparison, especially to Joe Biden's debate performance, to me, just goes to show you, when you bring up media, it's not because media doesn't think this is an important topic. It's just because attacking Joe Biden seems to, for whatever the reason might be, bring more eyeballs to their station, so that way they're selling more ad space and they're able to provide more revenue per share to each shareholder. This is all about the economics of media.
Well, and Biden's not out there threatening them. I mean, you talked about a recent post that Donald Trump made 2 days ago to Zuckerberg. And he said, basically, I'm going to throw you into prison. I mean, this was a post that Donald Trump made. He said, you know, it's a lot of whining. The Justice Department is corrupt. Wah, wah, wah. They have no shame at all. If I'm elected, we will pursue. This is what he's saying. Donald Trump, the convicted felon, someone found liable for sexual assault, someone who used fake elector slates, someone who himself engaged in massive election fraud, says they have no shame. All I can say is that if I'm elected president, we will pursue election fraudsters at levels never seen before, and they will be sent to prison for long periods of time. We already know who you are. Don't do it, Zuckerbucks. Be careful. And so the Fourth Estate, which tries to act like they're fearless, they're not. They are complicit, is what they are, because when Donald Trump makes posts like that, threatening to do what Putin does to his political enemies, and you are focused 2 weeks later on President Biden's debate that the American people have gotten over, and you're not focused on the fact that Donald Trump says he wants to be a dictator. The leader of the Republican Party says, I want to be a dictator. He gives quotes that are near verbatim Adolf Hitler. He praises Vladimir Putin. He's found liable for sexual assault. He's on audio tape bragging about sexually assaulting women and then using beauty pageants to inspect girls naked at the beauty pageants without their consent. He's on videotape saying that what he has in common with his daughter Ivanka is sex. He's out there throughout the Epstein files over and over again. He led an insurrection against our country. Cohen, the fact that when the media compares Biden to Donald Trump, they'll even say, look, Biden's economy is doing better than Trump, even when you take out the 2020 and COVID. And I think to myself, yes, that's true. But why do we take it out? He gets a mulligan for a full year. You were in charge. You get a mulligan for everything. You get a mulligan for leading to the massive deaths because you told us, like a miracle, it was all going to go away and to inject ourselves with bleach. And we're supposed to wave that Men in Black magic wand and just say, you know what? 1 year led to cataclysmic catastrophe in the worst leadership ever. But, you know, that wasn't his fault. That was just circumstances. And then we're supposed to deal with these BS narratives about Biden every single day when all objective criteria, all objective data states that President Biden's tenure in office has been one of the, if not the most successful presidency, frankly, in history. If you want to use employment data, if you want to use energy independence, if you want to talk about revitalizing communities, especially a lot of those communities that were suffering in swing states, but across the country, if you want to talk about wages in the Black community, if you want to go and talk about, again, energy independence, go through the list of all of these things. President Biden being a leader on the issue of climate right now, 75th anniversary of NATO, as our press corps is asking foreign leaders what they think about Biden, these foreign leaders who are doing well because of Biden in the NATO alliance, they're like, I don't even understand the question that you're asking me. President Biden's united NATO and strengthened alliances more significantly than any president since the creation of NATO.
Whereas Trump has turned around and been crystal clear that he intends to dismantle NATO. And basically, he even turned around and said, whatever happens, where Putin wants to go, Putin can go, unless everybody's paying their fair share. Again, he's transactional. But I want to bring back up, because we really cannot just ignore all of this conversation about Project 2025. It's why the gloves are staying on. All right. We got to beat the shit out of this. I'm not joking. This is how dangerous that this thing really is. Can we go back for a quick second to that post by Von Schitzenpants, the one about Zuckerbucks? Because there's much more to this than when he's turning around and he's claiming that we already know who you are. Don't do it, Zuckerbucks. Be careful. And he talks about having individuals incarcerated using the Department of Justice. Fellow brigaders, what I say to you, I had expressed a couple of days ago when we were on that I was going to be filing a writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, Michael Cohen versus the United States of America, which was predicated on the unconstitutional remand of me back to prison in solitary confinement until I was ultimately released by a federal court judge who called it retaliation. Do me a favor, if you can, throw up the first page of there you go. Supreme Court of the United States. This got filed yesterday, as I promised you I was going to do. I will not leave this alone. I cannot afford to leave this alone, because something I had said when Ben and I first started this, when I first started dealing with the Midas Touch Network for my Mea Culpa podcast and for meeting up with Ben and the brothers and so on, my biggest fear is that what they did to me, they will do to you. So I am now saying to anybody out there, to our incredible community, if you happen to know Mark Zuckerberg, let him know Donald's not playing. He's not lying. He's not fucking around. If he becomes president of the United States of America again, Zuckerberg will be indicted. He will be incarcerated. And no matter what he thinks, there will not be 100 law firms that he can afford to pay that will be able to get him out. Because trying to use the Michael Cohen habeas petition as precedent will no longer work, thanks to the Supreme Court of the United States. So what we have asked for, and if we can go to the second page, the statement of the facts, and just blow up the first paragraph, I want you to understand just how significant this is. My lawyer, this guy, John Michael Doherty from Gilbert LLP, look at how he starts this thing out. In 1760, British parliamentarian John Wilkes published an item in his newspaper, the North Briton, criticizing King George III for a recent speech concerning his handling of the French-American War in the colonies. Incensed, the king locked Wilkes away for the crime of seditious libel. Over the ensuing 30 years, the colonies declared their independence from the king, won the subsequent war, and founded a new form of government with a constitution that protected people who criticized the government from being thrown in prison without good cause. Since then, the courts have zealously protected Americans who criticize their government from being arbitrarily imprisoned for exercising their right to free speech. My friends, substitute out a couple of names here. King George for Von Schitzenpants and Wilkes for Michael Cohen. It is the most unconstitutional thing that any president can possibly do. And that is to incarcerate an American for the sole purpose of that person being a critic and stifling their First Amendment constitutional right. There just is no other, there is nothing more un-American and undemocratic than that. And the fear, something I have been saying to all of you, I've been talking about this with Ben a lot, which is, I don't ever want what happened to me to happen to you. And that includes Mark Zuckerberg, which, by the way, he should be out there finding people like Ben and myself, finding other people like Lincoln Project or Tara Setmai with her new organization and so on. He should be out there looking for people who are fighting the fight, because he's got what they call disposable FU money. All right. He could easily fund everything in order to ensure that Donald Trump does not win in 2024. And don't do it because of Michael Cohen. Don't do it because of Ben Meiselas. Don't do it because of Midas Touch Network. Do it because it's in your self-interest. It's plain and simple. The second this guy makes himself into the Führer, into the dictator, the monarch, the king, the supreme leader, it's all over. It's all over for everyone. And we are not taking this scenario as seriously as we all should be. Now, I'm not saying that a whole bunch of our brigaders, Ben, aren't on board with everything you and I keep preaching about this. The country is not on board. I can't tell you the number of people that say, oh, why did you file a Supreme Court action? Seriously? Where the fuck have you been? Where have you been the last 6 years? Wake up. This is your democracy that is finally, for the first time in 249 years, on the cusp of being taken. And nobody's acting, nobody's doing anything other than a handful of people. This is not normal. Donald should not be within 50 points of Joe Biden. And I don't care how old Joe Biden is. You know, one of the things on my podcast that drops tomorrow on Mea Culpa, I have Anthony Scaramucci, and he makes this great analogy. The United States government is like a movie theater. And in that theater, there's two movies playing. To the left, you have Weekend at Bernie's. And to the right, you have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Now, if you want to understand the entire analogy and everything, that Anthony, who's fucking brilliant, I mean, really, he's brilliant. You got to tune in tomorrow because it is truly brilliant. And it expresses exactly the problems that we are facing right now in this country.
You know, you mentioned at the top of the show Donald Trump's supporters and the types of people who have now gravitated to the Republican Party and what the Republican Party has become. And if you think about it, like, who would be attracted to this cult-like behavior? Who would be attracted to these ideas? And for me, Cohen, this has always just been about, most importantly, getting out the data to the people while the media pursues, as I call it, these kind of narrative tsunamis that they push. Remember, before the debate, what were they pushing? Polls, 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 polls,
Yep.
polls. And then when the debate happened and the polls didn't change, even some of the polls look fair, at least the transparent polls that are out there, the ABC Ipsos poll, the Morning Consult poll, this battleground poll by BSP Research of Latino voters, all of the transparent data that's out there has shown it even slight loss of some support for President Biden, but mostly coming from his own party and not independents or President Biden gaining. But because the polls don't fit the narrative becomes about feels. And so the narrative tsunami then just becomes about, how does this person feel? How does that person feel? What does this person feel? And dragging the story now 2 weeks in versus providing the American people with the data. What does Project 2025 say? What are the MAGA Republicans doing in terms of women's reproductive rights? Wait, you're telling me that in the Senate, the Democrats tried to pass a law protecting the right of women to travel from a state that bans abortions to a state that allows women's reproductive rights, and the MAGA Republicans blocked it the same way they blocked IVF and the same way they blocked the right to contraception? The corporate media is not prioritizing that coverage. The power of your pen and the power of your camera and what you choose to cover says everything that needs to be said about you. I don't know if you've seen some of these photos coming out of Sun Valley, Idaho, Cohen, there's this big event taking place there where all the corporate media hot shots are showing up. And David Zaslav is one of the people there who runs Paramount, which owns CNN. And he was asked about the presidential election, and he basically said, our main focus is corporate consolidation. We don't care about any political parties. As long as they support deregulation and corporate consolidation, that's all we care about, and that's our main focus right there. Here's the exact quote. We just need an opportunity for deregulation so companies can consolidate and do what we need to do to be even better. Do you have the picture of Zaslav there? Because it's right out of Succession, just like it's like a character of the TV show, while they are partying in Sun Valley and having these ivory tower conversations, we the people are left with their attempts at gatekeeping information to cause the rise of fascism. So I got sidetracked for a second though, Cohen, because I wanted to go back to the point you made about those who are supporting Donald Trump. Let's just take a look though at some of these videos here of some of the Trump supporters. This is just over the past 48 hours, and these are some of the top Trump influencers. So for those watching this show, the types of content that the Midas Touch Network puts out. And whether you agree or disagree with us, I hope you find that we're well researched, that we're thoughtful, that we do our best. We don't always get it right. We do our best. We focus on the data and we focus on issues. They may not be fitting any media narrative, but we focus on the issues that we think are the life or death issues. On the other hand, in the Republican world, just take a look at what some of their influencers and their crew looks like. This is Donald Trump's Republican Party right now. Let's play this first clip.
Trump 2024. Y'all already know who we voting for. Vote for my uncle. Period. Trump 2024. Trump, say the USA. Maga.
That's on the
Why
account.
does she not understand that she is exactly who Donald Trump was talking about in 2015 when he descended down the golden escalator and started talking about, for example, Mexico? He wasn't just talking about Mexico. He's talking about immigrants. All right. And far be it for me, but I certainly detected an accent there. I don't give a shit what car she's driving because probably in 3 months from now, it's going to be repossessed anyway. I mean, the whole thing is so stupid. Does she not understand as a female, she now has less rights than her grandmother? Or is she that thick in her head that maybe it's the MAGA hat is on too tight, or that chain around her neck is cutting off the circulation to her brain. She has less rights than her grandma, plain and simple. If God forbid that she had trouble in terms of giving birth, IVF is not an opportunity now for her to have a family. Or that if God forbid she ended up requiring an abortion and she decided that she wanted to have one. Well, I can see that she's in the state of Florida. How about that's not going to work out for you, hun? All right. So maybe you want to think twice before you want to sit there and you want to start riding around with a Donald Trump blow-up doll in the back screaming, Donald's going to save the USA. Save the USA. He's not looking to save the USA. I need to be clear about this. He's looking to save himself from incarceration and absolute bankruptcy due to the civil fines and the criminal convictions that he is currently plagued with. She is 100% exactly who Donald Trump is talking about, the poorly educated, the stupid.
And here's a photo, though, of Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, and the MAGA rapper, Fergaccio Blow. And you see right there, that's the same gold chain and the same MAGA ring. That's somebody who would likely become a Supreme Court justice. She may become an attorney general in a Trump administration. She'll be making, so for those watching this, I'm not exaggerating, she'll be making key decisions over your life. Alina Habba, again, as the next Supreme Court justice, as an attorney general, as a White House counsel. She would be in one of those roles. And that's one of the big MAGA influencers right there. They're going to have at the Republican National Convention, which is underway, Amber Rose, who's like, she used to be famous 10 years ago. And I think she once dated Kanye West. But, you know, she gets a spot. She's one of the main speakers at the Republican National Convention with the rapper Fergaccio Blow as well. And here's one of the kind of big MAGA candidates in Florida as well, who's running against Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, who is a Republican, and they called him a rhino. This is a guy named Johnny Fratto. This is right before that Trump rally in Miami. And this is kind of the MAGA sentiment here. So when we're talking about who's involved in this movement, just take a look at this Johnny Fratto guy attacking any Republicans who are not part of the cult. Watch this.
Oh, who's ready to get rid of all these rhinos in Congress?
Everyone is.
Absolutely, because you know what? They're worse than Democrats. Because the Democrats wear that badge proudly. But the rhinos, we don't know who they are. They pretend all day long, and they say that they're our friends, but behind closed doors, they're making all sorts of secret deals with these people, and they're disgusting. And they're the true ones really selling us out. And we got to make sure that we get rid of them. The guy that I'm running against, Mario Diaz-Balart, has a 38%, he only votes conservatively 38% of the time. I mean, how can you call yourself a Republican and have a voting record like that?
Talk to him.
He voted for the omnibus bill. He voted, that's right, the omnibus bill. He voted for FISA 702 to spy on Americans. That's what he wants to do. He wants to spy on us. He voted to give money to Ukraine. He sends letters to friends of mine.
Real quick, should we give any more money to Ukraine?
Fuck no!
I can't hear you. Okay, keep going, Johnny. Talk to him.
This guy sent letters to Benny Johnson, George Papadopoulos, a bunch of other people saying, you're impeding our efforts to give more money to Ukraine. But are the veterans getting more money? No. Are we getting more money? No. The Ukraine is. It is disgusting. I can't abide it one day longer, and that's why I'm running.
You know what's amazing over there, Ben? The thing that everybody is acknowledging, all of our brigaders and so on. What do you have? 45 people? 50 people? And maybe some people just walking through the parking lot. This is another like Rudy Colludi, drunken Giuliani shit show inside of a parking lot. I mean, wow, great crowd, man. You got people on their way into Costco, you know, stopping. And then you get a bunch of paid people who are standing there screaming, really? Don't support Ukraine? Don't support democracy, you fucking dingbat? I don't know a nicer way to put it. You know, my mom, who sometimes, you know, I shouldn't say sometimes, who regularly watches us, Ben, on Political Beatdown. And as soon as it's over, I'll get a phone call from her. She'll be like, why? Hi, Mom. Nobody in our house. My dad is a retired head and neck reconstructive surgeon. My mom was a surgical nurse. That's how they met. And so my siblings are all lawyers. Nobody talks like you. So she goes, why? I said, Ma, maybe I'm more passionate than the rest of you. And it's the only way that sometimes I can express myself. That fucking idiot standing in the front there doesn't even understand what the concept of democracy is. No, yeah, you know, we should listen to Putin. No, you don't listen to Putin. Putin, Russia, is an adversary of the United States of America. All right. Ukraine is a democracy. All right. And they are like an ally to America. Now, they may not be part of NATO as of yet, but they stand for democracy. And that's what we as Americans want to see. We want to see democracy spread around the world, not allow countries like China and North Korea and Russia to all start teaming up together, right? This would be devastating for the world. And for whatever the reason is, you have this swath of morons, as stupid as they come, that just, they don't understand, they don't want to understand, they do understand that they hate life, they hate America, they hate the world, they hate everyone and everything in between it. And so what do? On a Tuesday, you stand in a parking lot for a fucking nobody screaming, fuck Ukraine, don't give them any more money. Really? And you think that that makes you intelligent when you're listening to this idiot with his two black guys that is standing next to him like, like props? I mean, give me a goddamn break already. It's enough. It's enough.
Here is the Latinos for Trump event as well that was just held a few days ago. Here's what they were saying and doing. Here, play this clip.
They don't want it. They just keep talking on the sidelines. They don't fucking want it. We get for Trump, bro. That's what the fuck it is. Yeah.
Five people. Ben, when I go out on the street, when we're walking in Manhattan and I walk out onto the street, I get a bigger crowd than this idiot got between both of them, between their Latinos for Trump and also this idiot that's in the parking lot.
You know, then you've got the Trump supporters, the big selling item that Trump sells, and that's at these events. I'm voting for the convicted felon. You also got people showing up to these events wearing diapers. Real men wear diapers and diapers over Dems, and that's been fact checked by Snopes. But here's the broader point, Cohen.
Oh, jeez.
Here's the broader point, and you said this before. There is a portion of America, and it is sad. It is disturbing. I wish there could be a way to help. I truly do. My feelings are so torn between feeling bad and wanting to lend a helping hand, but knowing there's such venom and hate in these people. But that's not America. That isn't. That is a portion of America. And unfortunately, it's a large group. It's that 25 to 35%. Sure. We know that it has a ceiling. We do. But what we also know, Michael Cohen and Brigaders, what the data has shown over and over again in the 2020 election, in the midterm elections with no red wave, all of the post-Roe v. Wade being overturned data, all of the primaries that have taken place, where there's actual real voting behavior with large sample sizes, the silent majority of Americans, which are liberals, progressives, independents, mainstream Republicans, like the types of rhinos those MAGA cult members were yelling at and attacking and saying those horrible things. Americans, the true silent majority, gets it. We understand the issues. We understand the threats. And what we're simply asking for is the data and the truth, and to understand the issues, and to not provide this propaganda, not propagandize and inflate the strength of what is a dying MAGA movement. And the corporate media for 3.5 years, 3.5 years, they've been doing the polls, red wave, red wave, red wave. I guess we were wrong, but let's go back to polls, and not talking about the economic data, not talking about inflation falling, crime falling, border crosses actually falling. They give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt, like the border was great under Donald Trump. Go look at the last year before COVID. It simply wasn't. Go back and pull the graphic up again of the data. Climate emissions falling, inequality falling, energy production growing, real wages growing, jobs growing, unions growing, stock market growing. And all we do now every day, it's the media mocking an old guy. You know, and I was taught growing up, you respect your elders. You respect your elders. It's a whole day of media mocking President Biden for being old. Newsflash, he's older. We know that. He's 81 years old. We know that. We knew that. We're aware of that. We're aware of what happened at that. We get it. But we also get the threat to our democracy. And we can also take a data point and compare it to 3.5 years. We'll talk about that and more. I want to show you a video that we just put out at the Midas Touch Network comparing Biden's speech with Trump's speech on the same day. I'll talk about the presser coming up with President Biden. That and more. Let's take a quick break.
So Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs. And it gives you tailored advice to improve your nutrition, your workouts, your sleep, and even stress management. So all you have to do is this. You breathe into your lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on the measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and your meals so that you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. So let me be clear. Your metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body turns the food that you eat into fuel that keeps you going. It can also track your cycle as well as the onset of menopause and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy through hormonal shifts so that you can keep up your energy and stave off cravings. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go right now to lumen.me/beat to get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/beat. BEAT for 15% off your purchase. And thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. I've been trying to lead a heart-healthy lifestyle, but finding the energy to keep up healthy changes, like exercise, has been an uphill battle. We often think that living a more heart-healthy life means making big, unsustainable changes. With Super Beats Heart Chews, you can get daily blood pressure support in just 2 tasty chews a day. And they even promote heart-healthy energy without the stimulants. So paired with a healthy lifestyle, the antioxidants in Super Beats are clinically shown to be nearly 2 times more effective at promoting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone, something that I desperately need. I mean, I feel more energy than ever without the dips that we're all used to with coffee and energy drinks. Nothing is better than supporting my blood pressure and being able to have the energy to make the changes that I know are crucial. So double your potential with Super Beats Heart Chews and get a free 30-day supply of Super Beats Heart Chews on all bundles, plus 15% off your first order by going to getsuperbeats.com. That's GetSuperBeets.com and using code BEAT, BEAT. That's GetSuperBeats, BEATS.com, code BEAT. And
We're
here we
back.
are.
Cohen's got the gloves. Just want to say what's up to our brigaders. I want to remind everybody that Michael Cohen's new YouTube channel, it's an absolute rocket ship. It's at the Michael Cohen Show. You're almost at what, 60,000 subs? You're at 60. I want to get that. I want to get you that 100,000 subscriber plaque for the at Michael Cohen Show in record time in 1 month. And Michael, you do new videos each and every day. Some days, multiple new videos. So make sure you check it out. We've got a hardworking team here that's working behind the scenes, getting at all that fresh content there. I want to show you a video that we just did here at the Midas Touch Network, comparing President Biden's speech this week on the same day and basically at the same time that Donald Trump gave his speech. Trump's speech was at his Doral property in Miami. He did it outside. Notice, for all of the money Trump claims to be raising, he ain't spending it on venues that involve indoors. He's doing it on his own.
And they're paying his golf entities to use the space. It was never free. This is the greatest grift in town. He charges, Ben, for these events to be held at his various different properties. It's truly the greatest grift. And if there's nobody that knows how to grift better than Donald, that you got to give him credit for.
Well, also Melania, I mean, here she is. So she's been MIA, but she came out and took a picture yesterday. You know who she took the picture with? You saw the photo? I think we have it here. This is Melania from earlier this week with her personal stylist, Herve Pierre Braillard, who's being paid right now $18,000 a month from Trump's Save America PAC, despite the fact that Melania hasn't attended a single campaign event and refuses to be seen. There they are right there together. And I think we have, first off, like, the stylist needs a stylist. Can we just say that? Like, what in the world?
Does he not look like the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy? I mean,
he's the stylist getting paid $18,000. I mean, in that case, maybe I should be a stylist. Maybe you should be. You should be. Here he is. There's another photo of him with her as well. You know, this is the guy who infamously had her wear, or she wore it, but this is what he dressed her in: the green jacket emblazoned with the words, "I really don't care, do you?" on its back during a 2018 visit to children separated from their parents at the border. So remember that as Donald Trump was dividing families and like putting children in like aluminum foil, like gates and cages, Melania goes there with an outfit that says, "I really don't care, do you?" By the way, that stylist who you saw just made over 400, I think close to $500,000 by now. As of April 2022, or since April 2022, he had made $400,000. And that last report was October of 2023. So I'm sure that number's closer to $1 million right now, but $18,000 a month. Anyway, Biden gave a speech. Trump gave a speech. Who do you think the media was focused on as having serious issues? Let's play the video that we made at the Midas Touch Network. Which person here do you think the media is saying should step down and who's not fit to lead? Play the clip.
1949, leaders of 12 countries, including President Truman, came together in this very room and created the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
I didn't even know what the hell NATO was too much before, but it didn't take me long to figure it out, like about 2 minutes.
Today, NATO is stronger than it's ever been in its history. 32 nations strong.
28 countries. 28 countries. Think of that.
We know Putin won't stop at Ukraine, but make no mistake, Ukraine can and will stop Putin.
You know, Ukraine, when you think Ukraine, I had a very good relationship with Putin. We talked about it. It was the apple of his eye.
As President Reagan put it, and I quote, "If you are threatened, we are threatened. If you're not at peace, we cannot be at peace."
And they said, "Would you protect us?" I said, "No, I will not protect you from Russia."
Again and again at critical moments, we chose unity over disunion.
When people who love our country protest on January 6th in Washington, they become hostages.
Freedom over tyranny, hope over fear.
If you leave Florida, you end up getting shot, mugged, raped.
This is a pivotal moment for Europe, for the transatlantic community, and I might add for the world.
Did anyone ever see the lovely movie Silence of the Lambs? Did you see it? Did you ever hear of Hannibal Lecter? He was a lovely man.
Reagan knew it then, and we know it now. Our nations will continue to keep faith with what we pledged in years to come.
Yes, oh yes, and quickly, says President Trump. Yes, oh yes.
Oh my Lord. Wonderful.
That's real.
Wonderful.
That's real.
Honestly,
it's real.
It's a wonderful ad job in putting together just the obvious. And I every day I wake up and I have to fight with, I guess, what everybody else is fighting with, trying to stay positive in this absolutely upside down world that we're living in. A world where Donald Trump could even be a contender for the highest office in the land, the most powerful person in the world, a man who can legitimately not put together 5 words past a 3rd, 4th grade level. And this is the man that has managed to capture the brains of 38% of this country. And I can't figure it out. It's a man whose actions have single-handedly screwed up the Supreme Court of the United States of America. A man who takes pride in ensuring that he tells you, and that you never forget, it is he, Donald von Schitzenpants Trump, who took away and destroyed the decision of Roe versus Wade, and your reproductive decision-making rights. It's a man who has no problem in coming out and telling you how smart he is and what he intends to do during his second term, including rewriting the Constitution, destroying our tripartite system of government, conferring all power onto himself. He wants to use SEAL Team 6, or in his case, Meal Team 6, in order to send people to your home to bag you, tag you, incarcerate you, publicly execute you, depending upon who you are and how much he can't stand you. This is a guy who believes that the King James Bible in and of itself isn't good enough. It needs, first of all, his name on the front of it. And more importantly, it needs in the back of it the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Two documents he's never read and has no idea what they stand for. My friends, I want to be really clear about something. The fact that there's even a race that's going on right now means that we're not doing enough. It means we're not doing enough. It means that this show isn't being shared enough. It means that we're just not getting the message out, despite the fact that Midas Touch Network put out one of the best ads that I have seen in at least the last 6 months. I'm not joking, simply because Ben is on here with me, my co-host on this show, and that I happen to be a major fan of the entire Midas Touch Network and all of the podcasts and people that he's associated with. No, I would say nothing. I'm telling you, it's one of the best ads because it shows the dichotomy between two individuals, both roughly the same age. All right. Trump is no spring chicken. And then last time that we were on, you saw Ben played for us the video clip of Donald in his golf cart, barely able to breathe while sitting in a golf cart, gave some guy $20 and then making fun of Joe Biden, that he already heard that he's leaving. He knows this. It's enough already. We need to really take this to the next level. We have 4 months before this election occurs, and we must save this country and to save the future for our children, our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and all the generations thereafter to come. I'm not joking. We need to do more. And if anybody has any ideas, you throw them into the comments section. And believe me, we take all of this serious. You are our community. We are a family here. We are like-minded individuals who are concerned about the future of this country. It's why we ask you to support the network, why we ask you to support this program. We need at least 10 million people on just Political Beatdown. We need to be able to be a voting block big enough so that we could ensure that when you go to these swing states, that it's not even a competition. We need to take that blue wall and we need to make sure it's erected, and that it's erected not where Steve Bannon's stealing money from it, but where we can actually make the difference in the areas that we need to do it. Otherwise, we're going to be living in a country very different than the country that you woke up to it today. And I'm not prepared to let that happen. And I know you're not either.
You know,
by the
I
way,
just think it's
this entire group of Project 2025 and all of the MAGA assholes that support it and all of the MAGA assholes that are acolytes of Trump, like the John Mckinty and the rest of the entire group that's there, from the Steve Bannons all the way to what's her name, Catherine, and so on. I have a very special gift for you today. Photo. Fuck you. You get the 2-finger salute. Nobody should ever want to put together a manifesto to destroy America's democracy, to destroy our democratic republic. Fuck you.
Pull up the photo of John Mckinty again right there. Donald Trump's former bag boy, senior advisor to Donald Trump. He was actually removed, I believe in 2018. The FBI removed him from the White House. There were some issues, I think, that showed up on his in a national security check of him. I forget what all those issues were, but then Trump brought him back right before the insurrection. He's one of the people that's involved in Project 2025. There's also this video clip of him right here bragging about giving homeless people fake money so that they would get arrested when they tried to spend it. Like, these are just cruel people for the sake of cruelty. I think we have this video that Mckinty made of himself mocking homeless people and giving them fake money to screw with them and get them arrested. Here, play this clip.
So I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car. So when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them like a fake $5 bill. So I feel good about myself. They feel good. And then when they go to use it, they get arrested. So I'm actually like helping clean up the community, you know, getting them off the street.
Hey, so proud of myself. Oh, I'm such a good person. I mean, you think that guy on the street that you gave $5 to, you think that he wants to be on the street? You think that this is some life decision, a life goal? And it makes you feel good about yourself to give a fake $5 bill so that this guy gets himself into trouble? I mean, what could be more disgraceful a behavior? I mean, what could be more grotesque than doing that? I mean, maybe, you know, turning around and showing up to a hospital for a heart transplant with a plastic heart. How about that one, John? You fucking jerk off.
Yeah, and cruelty is the point. You know, one of the things we talk about a lot on the Midas Touch Network, a lot of the things we talk about here, I don't think is even like political. I just think it's like what your values and principles are in terms of like treating people with respect and decency, you know, and where do they get this from? I mean, Donald Trump gives speeches where he calls veterans suckers and losers, or he denies saying suckers and losers, but his he attacks John Kelly, his former chief of staff, for saying that Donald Trump called veterans suckers and losers. Trump gives speeches where he mocks disabled people. Just think about that. He mocks disabled people as part of his speech. He goes to places of worship. He goes to churches and leads chants with children cursing in places of worship. That's part of his shtick, where he goes there and starts to curse, and then the crowd in a church will say BS, BS, BS as part of the campaign for the presidency as the leader of the Republican Party. So where are people getting these cues from? Where is the cruelty emanating from? It's coming from that.
Right from the top. It comes right from the top. You know, can I say something to you, Ben? And you know, I get down. I really do. It's very hard to stay positive when you're dealing with so much. This isn't even negativity, it's sociopaths. But what I'll tell you, what I would love to see from this current administration, and I think we would all laugh if in fact that they did it, this idiot, Mckinty, John Mckinty, pulls out a $5 bill, or whatever the denomination was, states it's counterfeit, that he's giving it to people, I don't care if they're homeless or not, so that they could spend it. Sounds like distribution of counterfeit money to me. I would love to see Secret Service, I'd love to see the Justice Department come and arrest him for counterfeit. I mean, it's not just that he's hurting the, the individual he's giving the money to. What about the person who takes the money? Some of this Hollywood counterfeit money, I've seen them. They're really good. And what if it's a $5 bill and it just gets caught in with other monies, and now that goes into our, you know, to the economy and so on. You know, you have enough of that fake counterfeit money, you could destroy an economy. That's exactly what Adolf Hitler tried to do when they were producing counterfeit $50 and $100 bills. And it was only because the Russians got close to them did they actually sink the money in plastic bags. I mean, to the tune of over $1 billion. Their goal was to flood the U.S. market. You got to read this; it's a true story. And Google it. Hitler tried to destroy the United States economy by flooding it with counterfeit money. again, it goes right back to this entire group of individuals that seem to be taking their playbook right out of Mein Kampf. And I would love to see, knock, knock, who is it? Secret Service, motherfucker, open up. That's what I would like to see, right? Finally, hold these people accountable to what they need to be held accountable for.
Here's the leader of Project 2025. I think his name is Kevin Roberts. Here he is talking about there's a revolution taking place. He's leading the revolution, and it will be bloodless, he says, if the left allows it to be. A direct threat.
He's also the head, by the way, of the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, correct. Let's play it.
Well, Professor, my great friend, thanks for filling in and doing a great job. Three things. Number one, in spite of all this nonsense from the left, we are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. No one in the audience should be despairing. No one should be discouraged. We ought to be really encouraged by what happened yesterday. And in spite of all of the injustice, which, of course, friends and audience of this show, of our friend Steve know, we are going to prevail. Number two, to the point of the clips and of course, your preview of the fact that I am an early American historian and love the Constitution, that Supreme Court ruling yesterday on immunity is vital. And it's vital for a lot of reasons. But I would go to Federalist number 70 if people in the audience are looking for something to read over Independence Day weekend, in addition to rereading the Declaration of Independence. Read Hamilton's number 70, because there, along with some other essays, he talks about the importance of a vigorous executive. You know, former congressman, the importance of Congress doing its job, but we also know the importance of the executive being able to do his job. And can you imagine, Dave Bratt, any president, put politics off to the side, any president having to second guess, triple guess every decision they're making in their official capacity? You couldn't have the republic that you just described. But number three, let me speak about the radical left. You and I have both been parts of faculties and faculty senates and understand that the left has taken over our institutions. The reason that they are apoplectic right now, the reason that so many anchors on MSNBC, for example, are losing their minds daily, is because our side is winning. And so I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
And here is Donald Trump with that guy very recently. Here, play this clip.
Heritage Foundation president, somebody else doing an unbelievable job. He's bringing it back to levels it's never seen. Dr. Kevin Roberts. Kevin, thank you, Kevin.
Cohen.
What's there to say? It's an absolute shit show. Again, brigaders, we need to do more. We need to do more, because we have to counter the ignorance and the sociopathy of people like this guy, Kevin Young. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's so disheartening to see what is happening right now. And the more that sometimes I feel like I fight, I feel like I'm treading water, swimming uphill. We need to do more. And any thoughts, because again, we are a community. There's nobody that says it better than Ben. We're a community. And as a community, we have to figure out some additional solutions. It cannot only be, a handful of people that are putting out these type of Midas Touch Network ads. I mean, that was phenomenal. The Biden administration has to start getting absolutely tough. They have to start getting almost to the point of merciless against people like this Kevin Young, the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025. It cannot just only be about trying to prove that you are not cognitively impaired and so on. There's a bigger picture. There's a bigger problem that we're all facing. And my God, I sometimes I get up at 2-3 in the morning and I'm shaking because in my dream, Von Schitzenpants ends up winning, and our country is doomed. our lives will be forever changed. So again, Brigaders, thank you for joining today. Please, whatever it is, we got to come up with some more solutions. We got to grow this community every single day.
Want to remind everybody to subscribe to the Mea Culpa audio podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you subscribe to the Mea Culpa Blue, not the red. All of the new episodes are the Mea Culpa Blue. Wherever you get your audio podcast, just search Mea Culpa. You got Anthony Scaramucci joining Michael Cohen on the next episode of Mea Culpa. It's a great interview. I got a preview of it. Scaramucci is as sharp as can be. Your questions were great. Make sure you check it out. Also, go to patreon.com/political beatdown, patreon.com/political beatdown. Make sure you become a Patreon member. Cohen, I know you and I said this week, but Biden's about to do a presser, so I need to prepare for the press conference. So let's announce our Zoom meeting. Let's announce it tomorrow when it's going to be, but let's do it early next week. I would have wanted to do it today, but I want to make sure I'm covering the press conference. The Brothers podcast will be live tonight at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, shortly after the press conference, which will be at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. That will also be live here on the Midas Touch Network. In addition to Patreon, you can also just subscribe to our YouTube channel here at the Midas Touch Network. And again, check out Cohen's YouTube channel at The Michael Cohen Show. It's on its way to 100,000 subscribers. It's free to subscribe to that channel. A link to click to the at Michael Cohen Show is in the description below. But on your YouTube search, you can just search at The Michael Cohen Show, and then you'll see it. You'll click it. You'll see all the new videos. Subscribe there. Let's get to 100,000 subs there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're so grateful for this community. Spread the word. Tell others about the Midas Touch Network. Let them know that this is a fact-based, independent media network that talks about the issues that matter. We're data-driven, and we focus first and foremost on preserving, protecting, and defending our democracy. We'll see you next time. Shout out to the Brigaders. Shout out to the Midas Mighty.